you know. But tell me some more real quick about, I want to make sure we get all this info about your videos and Stream No More and PJTV and that kind of work.
I don't know what else. I don't know. So anyway, so I still do the videos, but YouTube. Okay, so this is my venting part. YouTube is run by Google, if you know this, and he sits on the board of Google, but Jonathan Soros, an apple that doesn't fall far from the tree.
And Al Gore.
That's right.
So there's quite a bit of censorship on YouTube. And so if anybody of you, have the ingenuity to get out there and develop a new web sharing, video sharing site, get out there and do it. Because as a concerted channels are taken down for no reason whatsoever. I've had my videos censored. There's no nudity in my videos. Some of them are a little racier than others because it just depends on what the topic. Like I covered Reed saying that conservative radio was like pornography. So I kind of dressed up in this leather outfit and I'm dancing and I'm caressing a radio, okay? So, there's no nudity or anything in it, but it got flagged for being, needed to be over 18.
Oh, inappropriate.
Yeah, inappropriate. So a couple of my videos have been flagged, I've been warned, and I have my own website in case of this, but YouTube censors greatly conservative sites, and so we need to find another avenue.
Well, also, what happens is, and you have to be very careful on Facebook and YouTube, because they have mechanisms where people can report you.
Yes.
And people will report you for no reason other than to get you banned or to get you booted because they don't like your message. So you have to watch out for the trolls.
And there's plenty of
the Axelrod trolls. You can live in a country where they actually pay people to troll around sites and bother people.
Oh yeah, well,
Isn't that just gross?
Here in California, we've got the California Air Resources Board. They drive around their Priuses looking for smoking chimneys. So if they get that, hey, sky's the limit.
Well, it's true. There are a lot of trolls, and I think I've had death threats, and I've had a lot. I mean. The funny thing about when I do a video, I really do research. You were talking about I get up at 4 a.m. every morning because I homeschool. I have 3 kids and I homeschool 2 of them. My oldest one is gone. So I get up at 4 every morning, and from 4 to 7, I'm at Starbucks reading everything and researching things and listening to you now in the morning. So I'm so happy about that. And playing centipede sometimes. So every time I do a video, even though it's satire and comedy and commentary, I list everything, the bills, whatever it is. So when the liberals come and start attack, they really can't attack because it's all there in front of them. But what they do is they really go with the personal attacks, right? And it shows the true hearts of these people, these pacifists and coexisting. And,
oh no, they're vicious.
Oh, they are.
It knocked the wind out of me to see friends, and it was painful. I've been in the film business for over 25 years, and these were my friends. And long-term friends to come to my Facebook page and say things I didn't even think they as human beings could say. I mean, they're vicious. If you don't agree with them, you are, I'll never understand how the party of compassion and tolerance can be so vitriolic. Well, you only have to look at what they've said about Sarah Palin.
Yeah, and you can see the human spirit in all of that and how the tendency for evil is there. And just go back to the original community agitator or community organizer, well, agitator, Karl Marx. I mean, everyone who grew up around him and was taught by him became vicious killers in the name of this peaceful coexistence.
Exactly.
So it's there, and it can happen, and it frightens me greatly to hear, for example, the attacks on Sarah Palin, going after her children.
Her children.
I mean, that's as low as it goes.
And telling her to get a sense of humor about it.
Yeah, and it's one of those things with Sarah Palin, for example. Okay, whether she's qualified for anything or not, let's just put that aside. What has she done that's so mean? What has she done that's so hateful? She said nothing that is mean or hateful. Nothing at all. But people hate her in a very mean way.
That whole part of the 2008 election was, I don't want to be Michelle Obama and say I'm ashamed of my country, because I'm not. I love being an American. But that was shameful. It was very emotional for me to see people sitting on CNN, an allegedly credible news source. They were actually had a panel discussing whether she gave birth to Trig or not, or if her daughter did. And I wanted to know what country I woke up in, because it wasn't America. And the vicious attacks never stopped. They never let up, and it's such a tribute to, and again, what you said, whatever she's qualified for. I happen to love her. I saw her rallies. She gets more, I mean, people treat her like Mick Jagger. Even being in Nashville last week, you know, what the media doesn't show is the infectious love of country, the spirit that she just embodies for this country. But regardless, nobody deserves, no one. It's a stain on America that other countries see us behave this way. It's disgusting.
However, the Republicans didn't do a whole lot better either, because after the election, who did they blame for McCain's failure? And they blamed Sarah Palin. So, you know, the libs are just very, you know, evil in the way they come on their attacks. And that's why it's so important that the Republicans we vote into office now, that they have to be true to what they believe. And stop this milling about and selling out and trying to be friends here and be friends there. They need to have the integrity, as John talks about, to stand up for what's right and speak out against when somebody is being attacked. Because you know what, you're going to make enemies anywhere you go. At least do it with integrity, you know, and stop trying to not. So that bothered me as well.
And you can win arguments with integrity every time.
That's right.
And you don't have to go to the name calling, the hate, and the threats, etc. I asked this question: who's on the far end here? You.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Actually.
Who are you? And what are you doing? And what are you doing?
Hi, Brian. Yes. I'm Ellie. I was born in the Soviet Union, so you know, I've seen.
First name?
Ellie.
Okay.
Yeah, Korban is my last name.
Okay.
So I just go by Ellie. And yeah, I like when you like mentioned Marxism, is, you know, you like push the button here, because this is, you know, the principle. Like Marxism was based right on this idea of dualism, which is basically struggle produces progress. So, and this administration, you know, all Marxists, like what Marx believed, how do we create a revolution? He wanted revolution. How do we do it? So, well, basically we isolate different classes of people, we educate them that they're being exploited by other classes and persecuted, and then they will produce revolution automatically, right? So this was the idea. It was not like the violent Bolshevik type of idea, yeah? It was more like a subtle, you know, educational type of movement. And this administration, you know, we can see the traces of Marxism because they use, you know, segment the population, different groups. Blacks, Hispanic, women, gays, straight, whatever, you know, all kinds of people, and they, you know, try to set them against each other, produce this warfare. So we destroy each other. And I noticed it myself. Sometimes I see people like in my church, you know, they're black, oh, they like Obama. Or I see some people, you know, like Mexican, oh, they're illegals, right? Sometimes we stereotype people because libs, they trained us like that, so we have to be really careful, you know, when we think like that. We should still be, like John mentioned, it's about unity, so we should not fall for this trap, right, Brian?
Well, I hear from, you know, people like you from the former Soviet Union on my show regularly. They call up, and I've heard this many times, and probably at your associations, you've heard this as well. People waking up in the middle of the night with nightmares.
Yeah.
Thinking, wait a second, we've seen this before.
My grandma, she can't sleep.
Well, there you go, your grandmother can sleep, because she saw this when it was in its infancy as a young girl in the former Soviet Union. So we need to wake up. We need to realize what's happening here. It's interesting, I have a book coming out in April. It's called Climate Gate. A veteran meteorologist exposes the global warming scam. It's coming out, the publicity date on it is Earth Day. It's a perfect day for that, because Earth Day is the original, it was a holiday crafted by a bunch of communists. They came from Stanford, and they created this concept in Santa Barbara, and it's been a mess ever since. But you will love the first line of my book. And again, this is a book on environmentalism and the global warming movement. First line of the book, Karl Marx was a diabolical bastard. First line of a anti-global warming book, because he was the original, he is the inspiration for all environmentalists. Yeah. He set the whole tone, and so my plea is we have to listen to people like you, because you're coming at this from a different perspective, and you've seen it, and we need to listen to you. lest we be the frogs in the pot boiling to death.
Yeah, that's right, Brian. And you know, like this environmental movement is, if you read the Communist Manifesto, right, what's the first thing, right? Abolish private property. And this is the whole deal behind this environmental movement. That's what people don't have control over their private property. That's their goal, right?
The government owning the water in the
I didn't warn you about our Ukrainian honey, did I?
I love these ladies, and I was finally get her just to, okay, come out and tell us about yourself. Yeah,
no, Ellie, no, I mean, I tease her with that, but she's done some videos with us, and I wanted to speak on this real quick.